We grew apart. We had a marriage that didn't work. This happens. There's somebody I love and respect, but to whom I shouldn't be married any longer.
Well, it's still getting messier and messier in the It Ends With Us feud between co-stars Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni.
Let's dive right into the juiciest gossip swirling around one of Hollywood's most talked about stars, Blake Lively. She's long been the epitome of charm and grace in the public eye, but behind the scenes, a storm of accusations and shocking revelations has painted a very different picture. Is Blake really the all-American sweetheart? Or is there a darker side to her that the cameras haven't captured? Buckle up, because this ride is about to get bumpy.
Poll, and so they are behind the scenes, not just lobbying. Allegedly, Jenny Slate, also Liz Plank, they are literally looking for any individual that will jump on board and solidify her statements that Justin Baldoni is a creep, and they are routinely and continually coming up dry, because that's what happens when you lie.
Blake Lively has been called a lot of things over the years: talented, beautiful, fashionable. But lately, her name has been tangled up in some seriously messy accusations. And we're not just talking about minor disputes here. We're talking about an alleged pattern of behavior that's left a trail of heartbreak, scandal, and even lawsuits. The first major crack in Blake's carefully curated image came with rumors of her involvement with Ben Affleck. Let's rewind to 2010 when the two worked together on the hit film The Town. Ben was married to Jennifer Garner at the time, and they were Hollywood's golden couple, or so it seemed.
Well, look, my responsibility to my children is the highest responsibility I have. So I didn't do anything that's painful or destructive to them if I can help it.
Behind the scenes, though, the vibe was anything but golden. Sources from the set have claimed that there was undeniable chemistry between Blake and Ben. And let's not forget that Ben not only starred in the movie, but also directed it, which means he had a significant say in casting. Rumor has it, Jennifer Garner was immediately suspicious of Blake's role in the film, especially with those steamy romantic scenes they shared. Now, was it just acting, or was there something more? Well, when the media tour for the movie began, insiders claimed that the flirtation between Blake and Ben went from subtle to blatantly obvious. Jennifer, understandably, wasn't thrilled.
Ultimately, we tried because we had kids. And then we said, both of us felt like we don't want this to be the model that our kids.
To make matters worse, around the same time, Blake ended her relationship with her long-term boyfriend and fellow Gossip Girl star Penn Badgley. Coincidence? Many think not. The timing was just a little too perfect, and whispers of an affair between Blake and Ben started to spread. Jennifer Garner, trying to keep her family together, reportedly forbade Ben from taking on a future project with Ryan Reynolds. Yes, Blake's current husband, because she didn't want to be anywhere near Blake again. It's worth noting that Ben and Jennifer's marriage eventually fell apart, and while Blake wasn't the sole reason, it's clear her presence didn't help matters.
You're not kidding when you say this is getting messier. The author of that book deleting her Instagram account, another who plays Baldoni's sister in the film, being harassed online for siding with...
Now, if you thought the Ben Affleck drama was intense, just wait until we get into what happened with Ryan Reynolds. Blake's relationship with Ryan has been a Hollywood fairy tale, or at least that's what they want you to think. But their love story began under some seriously messy circumstances. Back in 2010, Ryan was married to none other than Scarlett Johansson. The two seemed like a picture-perfect couple, but all that changed when Ryan starred alongside Blake in Green Lantern. According to crew members from the set, Ryan and Blake's off-screen connection was electric, and it didn't take long for rumors of an affair to start circulating. Things escalated quickly. Scarlett reportedly skipped the Green Lantern premiere altogether, leaving Ryan and Blake to walk the red carpet together like they were the stars of their very own romantic drama. And not long after that, Ryan and Scarlett announced their separation. While they've both kept quiet publicly, those close to Scarlett have hinted at lingering resentment toward Blake. One source even claimed that Scarlett avoids events where Blake might be present, and her icy demeanor whenever Blake's name comes up speaks volumes. It's clear that whatever went down on the Green Lantern set left a lasting impression, and not a good one. But here's where things get even more complicated. Blake didn't just stop at Ben Affleck or Ryan Reynolds. There's a pattern here, folks, and it's one that's hard to ignore. Take her brief but memorable fling with Leonardo DiCaprio. In 2011, Blake and Leo were spotted together all over the world, from luxury yachts to glitzy European hotspots. Their relationship was short-lived, but insiders say it ended because Blake was trying too hard to fit into Leo's lifestyle. She reportedly sent him pictures of a doll, yes, a doll, to keep things playful, but sources close to Leo claim he found it a bit much. After just a few months, Leo moved on, leaving Blake in his dust.
And one of the most significant allegations in Baldoni's lawsuit is that Lively sought to gain control over the editing process of the film. This is important.
Now, fast forward to Justin Baldoni, her co-star and director in It Ends With Us. Blake filed a lawsuit against him in 2024, alleging inappropriate behavior on set and accusing him of launching a smear campaign against her. But here's where it gets tricky. Some are saying this lawsuit is less about justice and more about revenge. Why? Well, apparently, there are whispers that Blake didn't take kindly to being rejected by Justin. Could it be that her fiery accusations are rooted in a bruised ego rather than genuine grievances? It wouldn't be the first time Blake has been accused of manipulating situations to her advantage. Blake's history of alleged infidelities and Hollywood drama makes this theory all the more plausible. After all, she has a track record of pursuing relationships with men who are already taken, or at least emotionally unavailable. And when things don't go her way, she doesn't just walk away quietly. Instead, she seems to have a knack for turning the tables and painting herself as the victim. Just look at the fallout from her relationship with Ben Affleck or the rumors surrounding her and Ryan Reynolds. In each case, Blake emerged relatively unscathed, while the women left in her wake, Jennifer Garner, Scarlett Johansson, had to pick up the pieces.
Now you have two sides here, right? So Baldoni says this was all an effort to hijack the film to get her way. Lively claims she was the victim of harassment in a hostile work environment.
What's particularly fascinating about Blake's lawsuit against Justin Baldoni is how it fits into this larger pattern of behavior. For someone who's built her career on a squeaky clean image, Blake sure knows how to stir up controversy behind the scenes. Could it be that her lawsuit is just the latest chapter in a long history of using drama to her advantage? And if so, what does that say about the allegations she's made against Justin? Are they rooted in truth, or are they just another way for Blake to control the narrative and come out on top?
New video released by lawyers for actor Justin Baldoni showed unedited footage from the filming of It Ends With Us.
As the details of the lawsuit continue to emerge, one thing is clear. Blake's reputation is hanging by a thread. The public is starting to see a different side of her, one that's less about red carpets and designer gowns and more about manipulation and scandal. And while Blake has always managed to bounce back from past controversies, this time feels different. The stakes are higher, the accusations more serious, and the fallout more damaging. With every new revelation, it becomes harder to reconcile the image of Blake as America's sweetheart with the reality of her actions. But the real question is, how much longer can Blake keep up the act? Is this lawsuit against Justin Baldoni the beginning of the end for her carefully crafted image? Or will she find a way to spin the narrative once again, emerging as the heroine in her own story? Whatever happens, one thing's for sure. Hollywood loves a comeback, but it loves a scandal even more. Stay tuned because this drama is far from over. And speaking of drama, let's shift gears to the latest developments in Blake's legal battle with Justin Baldoni. Will she come out victorious, or is this the moment her past finally catches up with her? Keep watching to find out.
That Justin won't be bullied by Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. So his lawyer told us that their recent court filings show how scared they are.
So the courtroom drama between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni has become one of Hollywood's most talked about sagas, and for good reason. With allegations flying back and forth, protective orders being granted, and reputations on the line, this isn't just a lawsuit. It's a full-blown spectacle. But while the cameras, flash, and fans pick sides, the question remains. Is this the moment Blake Lively's meticulously maintained image begins to crumble? Let's unravel the latest developments in this ongoing battle and explore what might happen next.
Now, I will say, it is also interesting that the defendants in this answer also admit that they sent text messages. I mean, when Lively produced copies of these text messages that she got through a subpoena, there's really nowhere else to go on that. You got to admit that you sent these, but it doesn't mean that Baldoni and the other defendants will agree to the context or the characterization that was laid out by Blake Lively. For instance,
it all started with Blake's explosive lawsuit in late 2024, accusing Justin Baldoni of inappropriate behavior and a campaign to tarnish her career. The claims sent shockwaves through Hollywood, not only because of the accusations themselves, but because of the sheer weight of the reputations involved. Blake Lively, the golden girl of the silver screen, going head-to-head with Justin Baldoni, a man known for his charm and seemingly spotless record. It was a narrative too juicy to ignore. But as the case gained traction, it became clear that this wasn't just a he said, she said situation. Both sides came armed with receipts, and the revelations have only grown more scandalous with time.
And that also, they say, includes us responding in the public to the montage dancing video that we put out. Why? Because, quote, the Lively Party's counsel publicly described the contents of video footage relating to Ms. Lively's allegations as damning. Their statement continued, any woman who's been inappropriately touched in the workplace will recognize Ms. Lively's discomfort.
Blake's legal team secured a partial victory when the court granted a protective order to shield certain sensitive information from public view. This move was seen as essential for Blake, who argued that without such measures, private details about her life, her family, and even her conversations with her husband, Ryan Reynolds, could be leaked to the press. Her lawyers also pointed to the harassment she and her supporters have faced since the lawsuit went public, describing a wave of disturbing messages and threatening behavior. Blake's team presented this as further proof that the stakes were higher than ever, not just for her career, but for her personal safety. But here's the twist. While the protective order is a win for Blake, it's far from airtight. The judge made it clear that any evidence deemed relevant to the case could still come to light during the trial. In other words, the secrets both sides are so desperate to keep hidden might eventually see the light of day. And let's not forget, Justin Baldoni's team isn't exactly sitting quietly. His lawyers have argued that the protective order is little more than an attempt to control the narrative and shield Blake from the consequences of her own actions. They've even gone so far as to say that her demands for confidentiality are less about justice and more about preserving her public image.
She also provided a cease and desist letter, asking them to cease, quote, all unlawful conduct, namely what they alleged is the, quote, harassing and retaliatory media and online campaigning.
Justin's countersuit against Blake and Ryan Reynolds, alleging defamation and civil extortion, has only added more fuel to the fire. According to his legal team, Blake's accusations are part of a calculated effort to destroy his reputation, and wrest creative control of it ends with us. Away from him, they've pointed to what they describe as a coordinated smear campaign against Justin, orchestrated by Blake's PR team and amplified by media outlets eager for a scandal. And while Blake's lawyers have dismissed these claims as baseless, the public is left to wonder who's really telling the truth here.
Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds are seeking to dismiss Justin Baldoni's $400 million lawsuit against them.
One of the most fascinating aspects of this case is how it's playing out in the court of public opinion. For years, Blake Lively has been adored by fans and praised by critics for her work on screen. Her marriage to Ryan Reynolds has been held up as a shining example of Hollywood love done right, with their witty social media banter and picture-perfect family life. But this lawsuit is starting to chip away at that glossy facade. Critics have pointed out inconsistencies in Blake's narrative, questioning whether her allegations against Justin are as clear-cut as they seem. Meanwhile, Justin has managed to maintain a loyal base of supporters who believe he's being unfairly targeted. The media has had a field day with this story, dissecting every new piece of evidence and analyzing every court filing. Tabloids have zeroed in on the personal stakes, speculating about the impact of the case on Blake's marriage and Ryan's career. After all, Ryan Reynolds isn't just a Hollywood star, he's a brand. From his successful ventures in business to his carefully curated public persona, Ryan has built an empire that relies on his image as a relatable, down-to-earth guy. And while he stood by Blake throughout this ordeal, the question remains, how much longer can he afford to do so if public opinion starts to turn against them?
But this is such a interpretation of perspective, because I watched the footage, and I'm sure we all have, and, you know, it's very easy to argue.
Financially, the stakes couldn't be higher. Between the legal fees, potential damages, and loss of endorsement deals, both Blake and Justin stand to lose a significant amount of money. For Blake, the fallout could extend far beyond her bank account. Her career, once seemingly untouchable, is now under threat. Studios and brands are notoriously risk-averse, and the longer this drama drags on, the more likely it is that Blake will find herself on the outs in Hollywood. Justin, too, has a lot to lose. As a director and producer, his reputation is his currency. If he's seen as someone who fosters a toxic work environment, it could spell the end of his career. The legal strategy on both sides has been nothing short of aggressive. Blake's team has pushed hard for broader protections and tighter restrictions on what can be disclosed, arguing that the high-profile nature of the case makes leaks inevitable. Justin's lawyers, on the other hand, have fought to keep as much information as possible in play, insisting that transparency is crucial to proving their client's innocence. The judge's decision to limit the scope of the protective order was a blow to Blake's camp, but it also underscores the complexity of this case. With so much at stake, neither side can afford to back down.
And he says, like, look, this is just, Hollywood is based on pure fear, cultivated by both of them and their very powerful friends in entertainment.
As the trial date looms, the tension is palpable. Both sides are digging in their heels, and the stakes are higher than ever. For Blake, a victory in court could vindicate her and allow her to regain control of her narrative. But if she loses, the consequences could be devastating. Not only would it tarnish her reputation, but it could also open the door to further legal action from Justin and potentially other parties. For Justin, a win would be a chance to clear his name and rebuild his career, but a loss could confirm the worst of the allegations against him, effectively ending his time in Hollywood. What makes this case so compelling is the sheer unpredictability of it all. Both Blake and Justin are seasoned players in the Hollywood game, and both have shown they're willing to fight dirty to get what they want. The question is, who will the public believe when all is said and done? And more importantly, what will the fallout be for everyone involved? With every new development, the stakes grow higher and the drama becomes even more gripping.
We also need to stop being so ADHD where we're only into stories at the very beginning of them and we never see them through. Like, we need to bring back true investigative reporting.
As we wait for the next chapter in this unfolding saga, one thing is clear. This isn't just a legal battle. It's a battle for control, for vindication, and for the public sympathy. And while the court will ultimately decide the legal outcome, the court of public opinion has already delivered its verdict. This is the most explosive celebrity feud of the year, and it's far from over. So, what do you think? Is Blake Lively fighting for justice, or is this just another calculated move to protect her image? And will Justin Baldoni manage to clear his name, or is his career already doomed? Let us know your thoughts below, and don't forget to subscribe for all the latest updates on this Hollywood showdown. Stay tuned, because trust us, this story is only just beginning.